Okay, so good morning to everybody. Venerable sirs, dear friends in Dhamma. Today, in the morning, normally we have one PG, but he is conducting another session. So that's why I'm replacing him. Always I have to replace him. So my topic is Dasa Dhamma Sutta, discourse on the 10 Dhammas. So this discourse is very important. All Buddhist practitioners, Bhikkhu Bhikkhuni, Upasaka Upasika, monks, nuns, as well as lay followers. We as a Buddhist practitioners, we have a goal in our life. What is that goal? To liberate from suffering. To liberate from this birth and death circle. To liberate from this samsara, birth and death circle, what we supposed to gain? We have to gain mindfulness, concentration, as well as wisdom. So we practice in Buddhism teachings of the Buddha to gain wisdom. That is our final goal. Why we want to gain wisdom? To realize the truth. What is the truth? One noble truth. The nature of this samsara, three characteristics: impermanence, suffering, and selflessness. Not only Buddhist followers, all over the world, all human beings as well as other living beings are searching something. What is that? That is their happiness. Happiness. We as a kids, we go to school to be happy. Adults, we are looking for happiness. We do many things. We are buying houses, buying cars, building new places, and traveling around the world. We do so many activities. What we are going to achieve these activities, we want to be happy. Happiness is the goal. So therefore, no one likes to suffer. All are willing to be happy in this world, not only human beings, even other living beings. So the Buddha is the person who found the path, the way how we can establish our happiness. We have barriers. What are the barriers? That already we discussed about these barriers time to time. 5 hindrances, fetters, and influx, sangyojana, nivarana, asrava, anusaya. All these are the barriers that we have that we are not able to establish our happiness. So then, now we have very clear understanding why we are suffering. We are suffering because of these barriers. Basically, all these barriers are the results of our main 3 roots, which we call ignorance, desire, and hatred. So ignorance is the main roots. Why we have desire? Because of ignorance. So then, whenever you have ignorance and desire arising, these are universal nature. These Dhamma, not created by somebody. This Dhamma is the universal nature. Eternal, never changing because of country, because of ethnic group, because of any religious views. So then, we as a Buddhist followers, we are looking happiness. So then now we have to see the barriers. So then we have to work to get rid of that barriers, to take care of that barriers. We have achievement that we're supposed to achieve ourselves: mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So these are the basic things about our practice. So then, to develop these spiritual goals, there are applications which we call Dhamma, Sila, Bhavana. Generosity, that is Dhamma; Sila, morality or discipline; and meditation. These are the three applications. So through these applications in our day-to-day life, we can develop our mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So this is our goal. These goals are the goals that we are maintaining in our whole life. So in this particular sutta, Dasadhamma Sutta, which is very supportive for us regarding our main goals, as well as the way how we can develop energy and effort to achieve this goal. Energy and effort is very important thing even in 10 perfections. Viriya Parami, one is there. And also in Sapta Bojjhanga, Viri is there. Energy. This is very important. Noble Eightfold Path, there's a word right effort. So then we can see about our barriers and the way how we can overcome these barriers, the way how we can achieve our goals. We need energy and effort. Energy and effort is very important, not just physical energy. This is very important regarding our mental energy. If we don't have that energy, we are not able to overcome these barriers, hindrances, fetters, influx. These are the barriers that we have to overcome. To overcome these barriers, yes, we need mental energy. So then, in this Dasadhamma Sutta, particularly mentioning about the way how we can develop, how we can start to change ourselves to gain this energy with us. So this is very important incidents happen in the history of this dispensation. During the King Asoka, Asoka was kind of a nasty king. He was always believed the power of the weapons. He killed millions of living beings, thinking about his comfort, own comfort. Somehow, accidentally, he got a monk named a Samanera monk, novice monk. Seeing that novice monk, he wanted to meet him and talk to him, and then he invited that novice monk to his palace. That novice monk get in there, and then the king invited to the monk, please be seated where you like. So directly that little one went to the king's chair, that royal chair, only for the king. But without hesitating, that novice monk directly went to and sat there. The king was surprised. The king was kind of curious there. This little one, how he did so? Because it is not something happening in this my kingdom. The king Asoka is an empire. He was empire. So then who can challenge the empire? So he was very curious. And then he started to maintain a conversation with that novice monk. That one day was the students of Arahant Moggalliputta Tissa. So then, through that novice monk's behavior and his discussions, the king was able to meet Arahant Moggalliputta Tissa. This story is very important. The way how the Buddhist followers should be in this world, according to the Samanyapala Sutta, becoming a monk or nun, you have benefits. We are becoming leaders. We are becoming guiders to the society. So therefore, as a monastic, we have responsibility to develop our personality. Personality, the modern word is personality. How we can gain that personality? And what is personality means? There are a lot of explanations in modern psychology regarding the personality. The way how the person behave in front of others. If there is any kind of issues, the way how we can find the solutions for that issues. If there is any kind of conflicts, the way how that person solve that conflicts, all these are regarding their personality, that person's personality. So as a monastic, we also should have to develop our personality. That novice monk who met the king Asoka also had that kind of personality. That's why he was able to change. He was able to change not half of the life of the king, 100% of the life of the king. The words that we use in the history, he was a Chanda Asoka, very cruel king. He became a Dhamma Asoka. How? Because of that novice monk's personality. So then we have to think about, there is opportunity for us to think how that novice monk did that kind of such a great thing. He changed whole world. As a Sri Lankans, we know, we were able to establish the Buddha Sasana in Sri Lanka because of that incident. Venerable Mahinda came to Sri Lanka after big changes happened in India with that Asoka period with Asoka. So as a result of that changes, we were very lucky to get the Buddhism into Sri Lanka. Not only that, there were 9 other countries who got that same opportunity. So it is not simple thing, that huge, big change. So this incident is very important to think about ourselves, the personality of that person, personality of that novice monk. So we as a Buddhist followers, so that we have to think about how we can develop our personality, how we can gain our personality, and to manage those kind of situations and change this world. As we know, we as Buddhist followers, we are not trying to change the world, we are trying to change ourselves. Changing ourselves, yes, of course, we can change others too with the influence of our spiritual development. In Dasadhamma Sutta, there are 10 things that Buddha mentioned. These are very important. The first one, you can also join with me if you get into the page number 65 in the red books. The first one, Vevanyam Yajupagato Pabhajitena Abhinnam Pachavekitabbam. I'm now changed into different mode of life from that of lay person should be reflected upon always by one who has gone home. As a monastic, you have to keep in your mind, I'm a different person now. Not only monastic, even as a Buddhist follower, as a Buddhist practitioner, among others, you have to keep these things in your mind. I'm a different person. What others are doing is not important for me. I have a goal. What is that goal? To develop my mindfulness. I have a goal to realize the truth. I have a goal to liberate from samsara. I have a goal to establish these four sublime qualities myself. So keeping these goals all the time, connected with these goals, we have to change our thinking pattern. We have to change our thinking pattern. This is not something easy thing. You need energy and effort for this one to change ourselves. Now you can see there are so many discussions regarding the teachings of the Buddha and practicing. Group of monks are saying Abhidhamma is not teachings of the Buddha, so therefore I don't want to learn Abhidhamma. There are some other monks saying, okay, these are only the teachings of the Buddha. These are not delivered by the Buddha. Therefore, I don't want to learn these things. Or Visuddhi path of purification. No. This is not Buddha's teaching, so I don't want to use that one also. Milinda Bhavana, this is not Buddha's teaching. I don't want to use any of these things. Commentary books, no, these are not important for me. Therefore, I don't want to use commentary books. In this manner, we have a lot of arguments. We have a lot of questions and kind of inquiries. But if you have these changes with you, any of these things not becoming a matter for you. You know your practice, the purpose of your practice. You have goal to develop your mindfulness. You have goal to gain wisdom. You have goal to realize the truth. You have goal to liberate from this suffering. All these are the goals. We don't have a goal whether Abhidhamma is Buddha's teachings or not to find. That is not our goal. If there is something explaining Four Noble Truths, explaining direct path to attain enlightenment, it doesn't matter which book is coming or which teaching is coming, it doesn't matter for us. We have to be very powerful with our goal. We have to stick with that goal. So if we are there, we are living in the Dhamma. That's why the Buddha said, after me, your teacher would be the Dhamma, not any person. Your teacher would be the Dhamma. So what is Dhamma? In Dhamma Niyamata Sutta, Buddha explained whether Tathagata appears in this world or not. Dhamma will exist. What is that Dhamma? Impermanence, suffering, selflessness. Because of these three characteristics, we are suffering. This is the barrier, this is the problem that we have. This is the matter that we have. We are not able to adjust to these things. We are not able to see this nature, reality. The wisdom that we gain is not enough to understand it. Therefore, we have to gain wisdom. This is the barrier. We are lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom to see this reality. So we are in trouble. So then, following the guidance of the Buddha, what we have to do, our duty, our responsibility is to develop our mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. We have only three applications for this: meditation, sila, observing precepts, and practicing generosity. So if there is any explanations coming from Visuddhimagga, Abhidharma explanations, or any commentaries, it doesn't matter if it is matching with these applications. We have to be humble, we have to be gentle, we have to be obedient to accept it and follow it. Because we as a mundane, we are very weak. Our sila is very weak. Our morality is very weak, and generousness is weak. Meditation also weak. Sometimes perhaps we are not able to continue our meditation 1 hour, 1.5 hours, but we are trying to change the Visuddhimagga. We are trying to change other teachings of the Buddha. Even the Arhat monk who lived in this world did not try to change any of these things. But we as a poor guys, with this lack of knowledge and things, we are trying to change all these things. It's happening in the world. So we as a monastic, we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. We have to be stick with our main purpose of our life. We don't want to worry about the literature or any kind of explanations which is related to the teachings of the Buddha. We can accept anything. It is not a barrier for us, for our practice. So I am now changing to different mode of life. From that of lay person should be reflected upon always by one who has gone forth. According to Vitakka Santana Sutta, when you have angry thoughts, you have to change to think, instead of angry thoughts, you're supposed to be a person who has a skill to manage that angry thoughts and to develop your loving friendliness thoughts. If there is some thoughts arising in your mind regarding desire, hatred, or any kind of unwholesome roots, so you have to be a skillful person to see that nature and to change your mind into wholesome thoughts. So this is the meaning of I'm a different person. I'm a different person. That person is the person among angry people who has full of loving friendliness. We have to be that kind of person. This is the meaning of I'm a different person. You have to reflect upon each day and time, each and every moment as a monastic, as a Buddhist follower, not just monastic. It doesn't matter, even the lay follower. You don't want to waste your time where the Buddha born, whether Buddha born in Sri Lanka or India, Nepal, or Thailand, or Brahma world, or Tujita heaven, it doesn't matter. Buddha's teaching is existing. We as a humble, gentle, obedient people, we have to connect with that teaching. We have to apply that teaching. This is the meaning of I'm a different person for change. My life depending on others should be reflected upon always by one who has gone forth. As well as my life depending on others. Think about not about our life. Generally, think about the billionaire. They are also depending on others. When their hair growing, they have to go to barber. If barber is not able to do that job properly, he's not happy. When they are hungry, they have to find some foods there. When the air conditioning is not working, they are in toiling hot weather, they are depending on the mechanic. When their car is not working properly, they are depending on the mechanic. When they want to cross the world, they want to buy, they have, of course, they have money, they can buy an airplane, but they completely depending on engineers. So in this world, how much wealth that you have, it doesn't matter. How much knowledge that you have, it doesn't matter. We are depending on each other. They are depending on each other. As a monks, we have limited resources ourselves. Chivara, Pindapata, Senasana, Hilana. We don't have even ownership for this. We have to depend on someone else because we are paying full attention about our practice. So therefore, who are supporting this spiritual path, spiritual journey, who are wishing to establish this inner peace in the world, in this universe, they're ready to support that people who are practicing. So we have to keep that in our mind. Dear friends in Dhamma, this fact is directly connected with the Karaniya Metta Sutta. Sakto ujuja sujuja sujuja samudu anitimani santusakoja subharoja. Being obedient, gentle, humble, and with the few duties. All these are the qualities. If someone willing to attain the highest level of spiritual development, they have to have these qualities. If they don't have these qualities, they are unable to get in there. So in these steps that mentioned there, you have to keep in your mind, I'm depending on others. I'm depending on others. If you have that humble quality with you, there is no reasons to argue with others. Argues means not related to the Dhamma, which is not considered as Dhamma. We are in that poor conditions around the world. It doesn't matter Sri Lanka, Thailand, Cambodia. We have a lot of conflicts. We have a lot of matters among Buddhist people, sometimes among the monks. Why? We don't have these simple things in our mind. I'm depending on others. I'm depending on others. So this is very important inner quality that we have to develop as a spiritual leader. I'm depending on others. So therefore, when I have this mentality, so then I can tame my word and action. That is morality. Taming word and action is my morality. I can tame very easily if someone even doing something not for my happiness. I can maintain my words and my behavior without happen any unwholesome, unhappy things there. If we have that thoughts, I'm depending on others. So that's why all these facts are directly supporting our spiritual development. The third one, I must now behave in a different manner, should be reflected upon always by one who has gone forth. My behavior should be different there. That's why if there are people who are involved in killing, stealing, sensual misconduct, I have to keep in our mind, I'm also person who are connected, who is the person connected directly with this spiritual development path. So my duty is not this duty. I have to separate from these activities. You have to reflect upon again and again, day and night, to be different person and to develop your spirituality. And does my mind update me regarding the state of my virtue should be reflected upon. Always, we have to think about our morality. We have to think about the power of our discipline, power of our virtue. These are very important. Dear friends in Dhamma, these precepts are very important in our life. Why the Buddha introduced precepts for his audience? Monks, nuns, and lay followers. What is the purpose? The purpose is to establish his audience with high level of mental health. That's the reason the Buddha introduced precepts. You might remember the Buddha was visiting his relatives after his enlightenment. Yasodhara was showing to Rahula, that is your father. Go and ask heritage. There are some heritage which he did not hand over, so go and check with him. Yasodhara guided Rahula. Without hesitation, Rahula directly went to the Buddha. No one was there to stop him because, as you know, Rahula's father, he was a father. So then directly Rahula went there. Then he asked, Father, give me my heritage. Father, give me my heritage. Then the Buddha turned into Venerable Sariputta. Then Buddha said, Sariputta, Rahula is asking my heritage. Then Venerable Sariputta took him to the temple and ordained. These are the heritage given by the Venerable Sariputta. What kind of heritage given by the Venerable Sariputta? Hiriyottapyam dhanam. There are 7 highest wealth, noble wealth. One is Hiriyottapyam dhanam. Doubt and fear. Doubt and fear for what? To do bad, unwholesome things. So this is the reasons that Buddha introduced precepts into the order, allow us to develop their mental health, to develop their mind. So mental health is very important. There are some other explanations. Sangha Suttutaya, Sangha Pasutaya. The Buddha introduced these precepts for their own comfort, for their own happiness. That's true, but directly, there's explanations that we can see very important to have very relaxed mind. If you are living with doubt and fear, your stress is going up. When you are living with the stress, you are not able to understand the teachings of the Buddha. The teachings of the Buddha is very subtle. You have experience now with last few days explanations. You can't sometimes with some teachings, you can't say yes, you can't say as well as no. If the world is existing, you can't say yes or no. If the world is not existing, you can't say yes or no. So how complicated this realization is? So that's why you need a very powerful mental health. You have to develop your skills to think deeply, widely, and quickly. That is the meaning of wisdom. So the precepts are very supportive for that. Precepts are very supportive for that. So the Buddha introduced precepts his audience to have stressless life. Stressless life. So stress coming through fear and doubt. Whenever you break any precept, your fear and doubt is increasing there. You don't want to be Buddhist. You don't want to know that killing is harmful. Every living being knows, not just only you. Stealing is harmful. Even cats and dogs, they also know that. Even animal beings, they don't know any Dhamma, but they also have that feelings. It is bad. It is not good. It is not supportive for any kind of life. So, we abstaining from killing, stealing, sensual misconduct, lying and alcohol, drugs, all these things for what? To live happily without doubt and fear, to uplift our mental health. We need mental health to develop. So that's why in here, always we have to think about our virtue, our discipline. Next one, do my discerning fellow bhikkhus, having tested me, upbraid me regarding the states of my virtue, should be reflected upon always by one has gone forth. There is nothing to hesitate if you are really on the path with these qualities. There is nothing to hide. There is nothing to something that cover yourself if you are really gentle and humble. So morality is very important to be gentle and humble. All that is mine dear and delightful will change and vanish, should be reflected about always by one who has gone forth. This is very important to keep our mind with peaceful thoughts. When there is something happening outside, losing or gaining, if your mind is not powerful enough to maintain same qualities at that same moment, you are in trouble. Because these worldly conditions are there with us. It doesn't matter whether you are enlightened or not. Worldly conditions are there with us. Labo, kalabo, ayaso, yaso, ninda, prasansa, sukhancha, dukkha. We are not able to gain things all the time. Sometimes there are things losing, missing opportunities. And there are sometimes praising, sometimes blaming. It's happening. This is the world. But as a person who developed your insight, your spirituality, your virtue, so you can maintain your happiness all the time. So this is very important regarding our practice. So we practice Dhamma to live happily, peacefully, and maintaining goal. What are the goals? We want to gain wisdom. We want to gain wisdom means we want to develop our thinking ability to think deeply, widely, and quickly. That is our purpose. Why? We are suffering because we don't know the reality. Reality is these three characteristics: impermanent, suffering, and selfless. So we are in really trouble if we don't know this nature, the reality. So I want to realize this nature. To realize this nature, yes, of course, we have to get wisdom. Then we can establish our inner peace. We can establish our quality in our whole life, each and every day. So keeping in this, you can continue and read this sutta. Just I want to show some path only here. I don't have enough time to discuss all these things, but we are, after this retreat, we have to get in connected with this mundane world, with all these hustle bustle things. So what is the way how we can protect ourselves? I want to just give some ideas, thoughts about these things to keep with you, even though after this retreat. The way how we can develop our personality, the way how we can face all these barriers, troubles, and all the arguments. So then we can be happy ourselves as well as we can help others to be happy. So keeping this in our mind, let us practice. You all have a wonderful day. If we get any chance tomorrow or today, we will discuss. We can continue. Otherwise, you have homework to read the Dhamma Sutta and to analyze it and try to get the idea what does it mean for our life. Thank you very much.